Elbow pain. It can hurt, especially if you think you might have what's called tennis elbow. By the way, you don't have to play tennis to get tennis elbow. We're going to show you what it is, how to take care of it next on Health Matters. Tennis elbow, also known as lateral epicondylitis. What is it? It's basically where the muscles that extend your arm, your lower arm, are really tight. And these muscles, as they come up through your arm from your wrist, they're attaching onto your elbow right about there. If those guys get really irritated, and the next thing you know, you're squeezing things, and that's why they call it tennis elbow, by the way, because you have these tennis players that are gripping a tennis racket, so all these muscles are contracted, and then they're hitting a ball. So there's force hitting a racket, traveling through their forearm and launching right at the attachment site on the elbow. So that's why they call it tennis elbow, but you don't have to play tennis to get lateral epicondylitis. It can also come from anybody that's doing a lot of gripping work. That gripping again and again is a repetitive use syndrome. It could also be if you've been in a car accident or other trauma, like in a car accident, if you're holding on to that steering wheel and suddenly you get into a wreck, that can put all that force, and if you have any weakness in here at all, it can create tennis elbow for you. So what do we do with tennis elbow? There's a couple things that we can do. Most times, tennis elbow will respond very nicely to conservative care, whether that's through rehab and stretching, whether it's through chiropractic care, acupuncture, all these things work great, even compressive therapies. So without going too far into detail, here's what your provider might do if you have tennis elbow. Number one, they would do some muscle work more than likely. And what they'll try to do is relax this area of the arm. They also may find that compensatorily, in other words, by compensation, you have some stuff going down here, here, or even here that they would want to work on. So not just working at the elbow, but working above or below and above the elbow as well. That's another thing. So that's where oftentimes people will start if you're a provider working on this. And you can do this at home too, using different kinds of lacrosse balls or other modalities. You can do soft tissue assisted manipulation right on your muscles. And that's for another video to show you exactly how to do that, but just know that can be done. Another thing that can be done is dry needling around the elbow. And what dry needling is it's taking an acupuncture needle and it's finding where a spot is really, really tight, putting that needle in there and just working through that spot until it releases, that muscle knot releases. That's another way. Acupuncture, another great way to relax the elbow and from the neck all the way down. That works beautiful. Stretching is really good. Often with stretching, we want to stretch with lateral epicondylitis. We want to stretch both sides of that arm. So we're going to take the front side, if you will. We're going to take this side, the palmar side, and stretch it. So it would go more like this. Or we're going to take the back side, which is the one that's attaching, and we're going to curl those fingers and just take that across. These things, you'll feel that all through here. That'll take pressure off. Adjusting. Chiropractors will adjust the elbow and the wrist and the bones in between the arms. That often takes care of that as well. But sometimes the pain is just a little too much or it's been going on for too long. Then you might need an injection in this area from a physiatrist, or in worst case scenario, sometimes they even have to do a little corrective surgery on here. If it's been going on for a really long time, there's a lot of scar tissue. But hopefully if you get on it quick enough, you can manage it conservatively and it does great. Another thing you might see with tennis elbow is you might see people that have a strap around their forearm. The reason they put that strap there is because now imagine if the muscles that have been insulted are these guys, and as they're coming up this way, they attach here, that's taking all the pressure. If I put a strap on right here and that strap goes on, now that muscle is going to think, oh, this is my attachment. And so now all the force stops right here where my fingers are instead of going up to the elbow. That means this can now get a break and can actually heal. So besides those things, the mechanical things, always remember, stay away from sugar. Whenever you're injured, it's good for us not to have sugar anytime, but staying away from sugar whenever you have injuries is a good idea because it's so inflammatory. Making sure you're drinking a ton of water, eating anti-inflammatory foods, vegetables, fruits, great idea, and taking some natural anti-inflammatories as well. Fish oils, some vitamin D, turmeric, bromine, trypsin, chymotrypsin, a whole bunch of stuff that you can find at a health food store. All of those things will help calm the area down. So I know I gave you a lot in this video, but if you have questions, you can reach out to me, jim@ramoslaw.com. I'm happy to help. Share this with people that you know. If they're into health, if they're into tennis, or if they're into using their hands a lot, maybe this will help them too. So until next time, just remember, we love you and your health matters.